What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Buccateers podcast. We have almost the damn near full crew tonight. Cody the G, he's out tonight. He has somewhere to be. So, yeah, we'll get him in hopefully in the post-game pod, which is occurring this Sunday, by the way, shortly after Buccaneers against the Washington football team. I'm your host, Tampa Tones. We're welcomed in by plenty of the crew tonight. We got Bucko, we got Kat, we got Stunna. It's gonna be a fun one. Bucko's been a damn ghost, so we're glad to have him back. How we doing, sir?
Hey man, it's good to be here. You know, I know you guys miss my greatness often. You know, I'm not one for humility, but damn it, you got 4 kids and a wife, so technically 5 kids. Shit happens, man. But I'm here. Let's go. Let's get it.
See that's a great guy right there. Look at family man Bucko. Family man Bucko. We love it.
Just pray for that family. Y'all know how I am, and they got to deal with my ass every day. God bless them.
Oh, geez, Lou. Yeah, I'll throw up a couple Hail Marys, but you know that may take a while for me, so I'll do it after the podcast. Anyway, it's good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in again. Cats, how we doing, bro?
Real quick, before we go. Happy Veterans Day to all of you servicemen and women out there.
Yes.
Thank you for your service and your sacrifice. Wanted to get that out there first, but Happy Veterans Day. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I actually I was gonna build that in, but we'll get it. You know, we'll recognize it now for the truly deserved veterans that have this beautiful day. You guys all earned this day so much. You guys have done so much for us. You guys have done so much for our country, and we can't thank you enough. And that's fine. You know, every day is special to some, but this day should be special to all, no matter what you think in terms of humanity and all the other things going on, politics, crazy world. Everyone should appreciate and respect Veterans Day for the great things a lot of these veterans done. So thank you, Bucko, for bringing that up. That was going to get trickled in eventually. I'm glad to do it now because our veterans do deserve the utmost respect, and nothing like giving that respect right off the bat. So thank you, Bucko, sir, for that. That's awesome, sir. Incredible. Kat, how we doing? I know you're a familiar face lately. The Rays went out and the Lightning are back, but you've been on, my friend. You've been on. So how the hell are you? Uh-oh. Did I jinx it?
Hopefully he's better than his internet. Golly.
Yeah.
Lightning's only been playing about once every week, so there's not much going on, man.
Hey, yeah. Well, Kat.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Like I second what Bucko said, though. Happy Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you to all our veterans out there. I second that as well.
Yeah,
I said it as well.
We sorry about that, fellas. Cats is with us, so as you guys heard, happy Veterans Day from our beloved Cats. Thanks for being with us again, Cats. Stunna, we're gonna take it easy on you tonight, brother. Thanks for limping in and joining us.
No problem, man. I'm here for the duration, and go Bucs, and excited about the Washington team this weekend, and I don't really have a lot of love for them. And I remember the '99 playoff game and how arrogant their fans were, and you know, it's been
you
all
like
Bucs.
That? I remember that.
So,
me too. Dan Clark fumbled the snap. Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Johnson. That's how we got Brad Johnson after that game, because they moved on with Brad Johnson. Yeah. He jumped on him.
I remember the 2005 playoff game that we should have beaten them in. And their fans were assholes at that one, too.
Yeah,
they spit in Pittman's face.
They did.
No, it was a touchdown. They called it incomplete in that game. I want to say Edo Shepard.
Right.
Yeah.
Edo. Mm-hmm. Shit, there's a name. Wow. All right. Stunning the historian.
Sims threw. It was a great pass. Yeah. And their fans were all over the place, and they were assholes. They really were assholes.
Chris Sims, that's his only playoff game.
To be fair, I hated fucking Chris Sims. I'm sorry. I never liked him.
Does anyone like Chris Sims now?
For the team.
I didn't like him when he was with our team. I hate him even more now.
I really can't stand him now.
But I will say, shout out to my Vietnam
Donnie Pepin. What up, Donnie?
Finish up, Stunner. What were you saying, my friend? And then we'll introduce Donnie to the room.
I said, shout out to my Vietnam veterans out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Stunner's
Shout out
the
to
only
all
one.
of them.
Stunner's the only one old enough on this panel to remember Vietnam. So God bless Stunner, old man.
Yes, sir. Old is a privilege.
Hey, and
It is,
yeah,
sir. It is absolutely.
A lot of my friends didn't make it.
we also yeah, I got a quick story before we get going here. My father and I were actually watching that Redskins Bucs playoff game, and Joe Theismann was announcing that damn game, and he was, obviously a homer for the Redskins. He was their quarterback. My father and I got so pissed at Theismann, we had to tune in on the radio. I forget who was doing it on the radio, but after the damn game, took all the Redskins football cards we could see in sight, made a nice little fire out of them. We made a nice little fire. We got that out of us. So hopefully none of them were the good rookie cards that they had going on. But yeah, anyways, Donnie Pepin, how we doing? What's up? Sims was a bum. Yes, the hell he was a bum.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Hey,
anyone got else to contribute on Sims? Cats?
Well, I appreciate that he lost his spleen for us, but when you hear him talk these days, I don't feel like it was his spleen that was removed. I feel like it was something else because he comes off, he's just a dumbass listening to him these days.
Oh yeah,
that's what Steve Young said about him.
I'm pretty sure, Tones, you and I talked about this offseason. I think he had him like number 8 in his quarterback rankings. He had Tom Brady number 8 as a quarterback in the league. Fucking retard.
Yep.
But go ahead. I'm not going to dwell on that. Look, we'll go ahead and keep it moving.
Yeah, so anyways, Chris Sims, we all know he's kind of a doofus, Donnie. We all agree with you more so. Well, yeah, like Bucko said, no need to get caught up on that. Playoff rematch, guys. Bucs are back at Washington. We obviously seen this. It felt like not too long ago. It was already last January, so it's been however damn many months, almost a full year at this point. How fast life's flying, that's crazy. But nonetheless, we got a rematch. And yes, sir, left-handed bum indeed, Donnie. You are right on that, my friend. We got a rematch, guys. How does it make you feel? I know it gives me the chills. It's like the playoffs, man. I get excited. I feel like it, gives me memories of last year's wild card weekend game, although we barely squeaked by. I know exactly what I was doing for that game. I had people over, a good crew for that game. Man, it gives me good memories. Katz, will start with you. How do you feel about this rematch, my friend?
I'm excited, and I'm very confident in this game. We're going to come out very strong after the bye week. I'll hold on to my prediction for later, but very confident. And I'm excited, to play him again. Obviously, that game, you're right. I thought we played very well in that game. Easily could have been a more lopsided game, but I'm excited for this one. And I'm excited coming off the bye because it feels like it's been a long time since we played. It feels like it's been a while. I think it's that way after a loss. You feel like it's been even longer. So excited to get back up. Excited for them to get back out there.
And Donnie chimes in again on Sim, saying his hair looked like Arby's fries.
I can see that.
Good old greasy dollar menu order of fries. There you go. Bucko, what say you on the rematch of our beloved Bucs traveling to Washington? Washington has not lived up to the hype, but it's still a playoff rematch.
Well, what a difference a year makes, right? Chase Young was the unstoppable next god of men rushing the passer. I think he's got 3 total pressures and 1.5 sacks so far. So, again, what this game tells me is you never know what's going to happen in the season. We went from having everybody out on defense to where we got Vontae back, we got S&B back. I believe Whitehead's playing, right? We got possibly no Godwin, no AB, no Gronk, right? Now the offense is the one we don't know what the hell's going to happen. And that guy, Taylor Heineke, gave us fits last year with his mobility and his craftiness. I'm really hoping coming out of the bye week we don't stumble against a team we should easily beat. But unlike Cats, I am not overly confident in Cyril Grayson and O.J. Howard being relied upon to make plays. So let's hope we have a fundamentally sound football game without 10 penalties and with a lot of Leonard Fournette, and we should be able to win this game easy.
Stunner, what say you on this playoff rematch? You excited to go back to Washington? Does it give you the chills going back there? How you
I
feeling?
thought we were at home. We're going to Washington?
No, at Washington.
We're at Washington.
Next week is home against the Giants, right?
Yep, Monday Night Football.
Okay, I got it backwards.
November 22nd.
Yes.
So I'm just excited, man, because I'm not worried about our offense versus their defense. I am worried about our defense versus their offense. We got kind of burnt with a scrambling quarterback last week with Jameis. Mm-hmm. So, when you have an actual scrambling quarterback, it's going to, we can give up some scary games. And so I really want to see how our defense comes off the bye and how they react. So I'm glad SMB might be playing, and I hope he does because, I'm a big SMB fan. And, I would love to see our defense make a comeback because it's the defense that really has to improve at this point.
Right. And Stunner, let me piggyback off that. One guy in particular I want to see come out of this bye week with a different fucking attitude and different approach is Devon White. I'm tired of missed tackles. I'm tired of blown assignments. I'm tired. Dude, at this point last year, I think he had 3 forced fumbles, a pick, several sacks, several tackles for loss. At this point in the season, he's got 1 tackle for loss, no turnovers, no splash plays, and a whole fuck ton of missed tackles and blown assignments. If that man don't get his head out of his ass and start playing like he's supposed to in a contract year or a 5th-year option year, I'm worried going forward. I think he's reading the press clippings a little too much, and I need better from him against this particular quarterback this week.
Okay, I'm definitely not worried at all about Devon White. Devon White is a stud. Devon White is going to be a cornerstone of this franchise.
He should be, but he's not playing as such.
I don't know about that. I mean, if we're blowing a team out, you're going to be in prevent defenses. You're going to be more lax. When you're going up 21-0 on a team in the first quarter, how are you going to play? We had that problem a couple years ago with Fitzmagic when Smith was there, the defense coordinator, and he was like, well, we got a big lead, and you play the prevent, cushion them but don't break and make them take the field. And if they score points, it's inconsequential because it doesn't affect the outcome when we go out there and throw lopsided scores on people. So I want to see him playing a tight ball game. And, I'm not worried about him at all because of his skill level is elite. And remember, he replaced Quan. And I love Quan as a run stuffer, but he was always a liability in coverage. And I'm not really worried about Devon White in coverage, even though he has a negative perception from the media and others. So I'm really not concerned with Devon White's performance. I think he's going to be great. I think he's done great. I think he's been in there with Mentor, filling a great void. And last week, Levante David was making plays all over the field, obviously versus New Orleans. And that's because, White is out there taking on the blocks and freeing them up.
One more, the only thing, I guess I don't have major long-term concerns with Devon White. Obviously, he is a stud. He should be a stud, and he showed he could be a stud, but he has not lived up to it this year. And instead of saying, I could be playing better, the thing that rubbed me the wrong way in his post-game presser was he was. I know it was a tough loss to the Saints. There was a million things running through your mind, but his attitude was a little rub offish to me.
And he played like shit in that game, dude. He played like shit in that game. A lot of people did, but he in particular played like shit. But go ahead.
It was, if I can add.
Yeah, go ahead, Kat.
It was, it's been a difficult, what are we at, first 8 games for him, especially when you compare it to last year and contrast it. It hasn't been up to the standard that he set. He set a great standard last year, even in his rookie year. So I think now the good news is I heard that Levante sat him down, had a conversation with him. Levante's really developed as a leader, which is great, and talked to him about, playing with emotion, because that's part of what makes what's made Devon White a great player. He plays with emotion, but kind of toning it down a bit as far as the penalties. And I know at least one of those penalties was a horse shit call, but the one on Ingram where he got up in his face, that could have been avoided. The one on Jameis was unfortunate that he got hurt, and I guess I didn't know when that happened that that's a horse collar. I thought he grabbed the name. I didn't realize that was that's considered a horse collar tackle.
It's anything from the name and above, yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't intentional. He's just trying to get him on the ground. Again, obviously, you're not trying to hurt him. And that one, all right, that happens. But, the one where he's talking shit to Ingram after a 6-yard gain, no less, you can't have those penalties. And hopefully, that crew was flag happy. They were calling roughing the passer on us for just about anything. But, yeah, like you said, he's got to be, we need to see those splash plays again, the ones that he's set. So hopefully, the talk with Levante and the bye week gets him back into that group again, because we're going to need him if we're going to be successful defensively. We're going to need Devon White to be Devon White.
That's a hell of a point. Shout out to Donnie in the chat room, and thanks to y'all that joined in with us. That's a hell of a point. Teams are actually scheming their offense to rub Devon White out of plays, to confuse him, to give him a free shot, and things of that nature that he wasn't being game planned for last year. So that is a hell of a point. Excuse me. That's a hell of a point. However, with this defensive front that we have in front of any linebacker, especially a linebacker with the skill set of a Devon White, you should not be able to be washed out of plays. You should not be able to be caught out of position, because your assignment is that much easier with the talent that you have in front of you with Vita Vea occupying 2 or 3 blockers. I don't want to hear no excuses for a guy like that wants to get paid like when Fred Warner got paid. Okay, you want to be a star? Give me a star effort. Like, shout out to Coach Herman Boone. Don't be Petey. Give me a star effort. That's it.
I don't know if Warner's earning that money.
He's having a down year too, Stunner. That's a hell of a point. Hell of a point. I don't know. Maybe offenses to figure something out with taking out these over pursuing athletic linebackers, taking them out of the play. Maybe. I mean, we got to give these guys credit. They make millions of dollars a year to dial up offenses and defenses for a reason. Maybe we got to give those guys credit and stop being so critical. But that's just where I lean.
My thing is, would you rather have Quan or would you rather have Devon White?
No brainer.
Oh, it's not even close.
One was a 5th round pick. One was the number 4 overall pick. That's not even close, man.
Well,
or number 5.
I don't look at the round they're drafted in when we waste picks.
Well, I mean, I don't think any Bucs fan would rather have Quan over Devon White. I think we all do appreciate Devon White. A lot of people just think he could maybe play a little better. Now, Levante David could be playing better as well. There's a handful of other guys that could be playing better too. But at the end of the day, we got some guys that could be playing better football, and Devon White might be one of them. Although he has all the potential in the world. He is going to be a good player. But Donnie, you are right as well. Teams are prepping for Devon White, and from Devon White to another Buck. Speaking of disappointing, perhaps Donnie says Brait needs to step the F up.
Brait does need to step up. Not Naperville.
Brait does need to step up, though, in my opinion. Him or OJ, especially. OJ is showing more signs of life than OJ showing more signs of life than Brait, perhaps. He does have a touchdown, but Brait needs to step it up a little bit. Fellas, what say you? Stunner, we'll start with you on Brait.
As long as Brait is, doing his thing in the playoffs, I'm not really worried about what he got going now. Now, OJ last year was looking real good before the injury. The Denver game, he looked really good. This year, he's back to dropping the ball and losing his confidence. So I would love to see OJ step up and make some plays and maybe fill that void. But Brait, he's usually a reliable target. But sometimes you will have drops, etc. But the thing is, we just got to have guys make the play.
And I want to piggyback off of Stunner there and just say how blessed we are from where we were a couple years ago to where we're sitting here in week 10 saying, oh, we're not worried about shit to the playoffs, right? This wasn't ever a Buccaneer mentality. Now we don't have to worry about the regular season because we know we're going to the tournament. So that we're blessed there. So let's be thankful for that. However, like you said, Tones, OJ is not showing the same confidence. I don't know if that Achilles, if he's fully 100% on it, because when I'm watching him run routes, he's slow, he's plodding. When I'm seeing him block, he is not firing on blocks. He also dropping balls. And Brait, now granted, Brady hit him a couple balls that he had to reach for But I'm of a firm belief if it touches your hands, damn it, you're supposed to catch it, especially when Brake was one of our more sure-handed guys for the entirety of his career. In fact, that's what got him playing time as an undrafted guy at Harvard. So I need both of them tight ends to step up. It's not just Brake, it's not just OJ. And I also need Brady to chill out a little bit. He's been happy-footed and throwing the ball a little bit harder than what we're used to. Mistake-prone football in the last couple of games. Well, not the Chicago game, obviously, but New Orleans in particular. That's the worst I've seen Brady play as a Buccaneer, and I was not okay with it.
Yeah, a lot to do with the
Cats,
Well,
what say you?
yeah, that was a rough game. Now Brady did. They put up 27, got in the end zone 4 times, but obviously you can't have the turnovers. One of them was an absolute ridiculous missed call. When I saw a computer report put it up there, they held 2 holding calls were uncalled on the first interception. But yeah, on the fumble and on the last pick, yeah, you can't have those. And he goes up there in his post game. I appreciate him. He goes up. He's like, "Well, we lost the game. I let the team down. It's all my fault." Obviously, that's not true. It's not all your fault. But I love the way he takes ownership of that. I think his teammates love that. I always have. I was talking to a friend of mine who's a Pats fan. He said that he's always been that way. If they lose a game, even if it's not all his fault, he's always going to take it upon himself to say that. I think his teammates love that. So it was a rough game for him, especially again by his standards. He had a couple real good throws. The deep ball to Evans. Obviously, Grayson was wide open, but he had a nice stick throw to Tyler Johnson. We had to zip it in there, and Tyler made a nice catch as well.
I
So,
love Tyler Johnson. I really wish he would get more snaps. I really do.
well, I think under unfortunate circumstances, he is getting more snaps. Obviously, you don't want it to be because someone's hurt or if someone's hurt, but
Yeah.
and we don't know about Godwin's status, right? That's still up in the air, as I understand it. But I heard there was good news today, didn't he? I thought I heard something that they said his injury is not serious.
Well,
If I heard right
He
today.
missed practice again today. They really have no comment. They said his game status is to be determined. He's physically is questionable. So I mean, he hurt his foot. What Monday tones in practice? He hurt his foot, right?
Mm.
So
Correct. Yep.
I don't know, man. I mean, look, we
I
already have
thought
no AB. We already have no Gronk, and no Godwin, man. I love Tom Brady. I love our core. But dude, one of the benefits we have is having a plethora of weapons. We can't be having all these weapons down at the same goddamn time. It's getting now because we're spoiled because we went through last year with minimal injuries. I mean, what Godwin missed 1 or 2, Evans missed a game. It was very minimal on this front last year, but it seems to be we're getting peppered with injury after injury. First, it was the defense, the first half of the season. Now it's the offense, and I really want to see this team at full strength and see if we are capable of beating the Arizonas and the Baltimores of the world who look really really good right now.
I thought I read something that they were saying it's not serious, even though he might miss this game. But if he does miss this game, it does give Tyler Johnson an opportunity. Again, it's not the reason you don't want him getting the opportunity because of injuries. But I thought he played well in the New Orleans game when called upon. I thought he made some good plays. And if Godwin's out, you're going to need to see more from him. He's going to need to continue to play, step up. I'm high on him as well. Again, I think you can handle these type of injuries if it's against weaker opponents. I obviously can't take anyone for granted, but I think they can handle the football team. I believe Washington is near the bottom in most defensive categories. I also think we can run the ball on them. Again, now of course you're missing Gronk and you're missing Godwin's a big part of our run game as well. So you are missing those guys. Tyler Johnson can block as well. He's shown that he can do that, and of course Evans. So you can run the ball on them. It's not, our first thing that we're never going to be confused as running offense, but we can run the ball on them if need be. So, but again, I hope Godwin
think you'll
plays.
see a lot of that Sunday. I think you'll see a lot of that. I think, Cats.
I think
And
so.
we got another guy chatted in, Russ Weeks. Hey, how you doing tonight? We appreciate you joining us. Russ has a plethora of comments. He says, BA said D White is doing what they've asked him to do. Players do what coaches tell them to. D White has had several big plays taken away by penalties. We talked about a couple of those, and he also said we always look at the big stats as a whole. We haven't been getting big plays on defense like sacks, etc. Well, part of the reason, Russ, I think with our sack numbers being down too is our secondary's been so depleted, and sometimes it's been easier for quarterbacks to dump it underneath with these guys. You got Pierre Desires and D. Delaney's, and they're playing 8 to 10 yards off the ball time to time. So a lot of these quarterbacks are taking what they could get underneath, checking it down, and they could get 8 to 10 yards of play, perhaps 15 if they busted tackles. So to me, that's what I'm seeing on a lot. And sometimes our pass rushers don't have time to get there. Now, like you said, Russ, D. White has been victim to bad penalties. For example, a sack we've had was that horse collar, got taken away by the horse collar. That was a bad one. 2 roughing the passers. One of them would have been a sack. One of them wouldn't have been, but both bad calls. So we are getting pressures when we could get good coverage. It seems like our sacks will get there. Our pressures are getting there. It seems like our defense is getting there week by week. As we get our health, we should get that a little more. Fellas, what say you about that?
I was a flag happy crew last week, but BA told the guys that they are apparently known to call roughing the passer quite a bit. Now, granted, some of them were absolutely absurd. That's roughing the passer. One of them wiped out an interception. In fact, every roughing the passer that we were called for, maybe one of them was actually roughing the passer. But I mean, he warned them that they're none of them. I don't think any of them. I think you're probably right. I don't think any of them. And New Orleans was flagged, I believe, 11 times, maybe 12 against Atlanta and twice against us. I find it hard to believe that played such a disciplined game against us and all of a sudden lost their discipline. They just get a more favorable crew. I don't know. Penalties are subjective, and you never know. Atlanta played them well. I thought we, defensively, it looked to me, because I watched a good bit of that game, and this might have to do with health of the corners, but Atlanta was aggressive defensively. I saw the Falcons corners. A.J. Terrell had a good game. Looked like they were being more aggressive with the Saints receivers. I thought we showed them a little too much respect defensively, playing off the ball the way we did. Because you saw they struggled until the fourth quarter against Atlanta. They really struggled offensively, and I thought we were capable of a game similar to that, whether it was Jameis or Trevor Siemian at quarterback. So, hopefully that's something you got to self-scout during the bye week. We saw them make adjustments last year, I thought, as the season went on, got more aggressive defensively. But, yeah, part of that is due to injuries to the corners. I mean, you don't have Carlton Davis back there. You don't have Sean Murphy-Bunting back there. So you're going to change things up the way you call your defense, absolutely. And the pass rush and your coverage have to work in unison. So it is harder to get to the quarterback if the secondary is not up to par the way we're used to it being, or at least reasonably decent anyway.
No, I'm with you there, Cats. The most agreed. Look, I don't like to argue about zebras, tones. I'm a guy. I don't blame nothing on the zebras. However, when I got a defensive lineman getting his fucking face ripped off, and he just so happens to be blinded and running to the back of a quarterback because he can't see a fucking thing because his chin strap is in his eyes, and that's the guy that's penalized. And not only does that stop an interception, but it creates a 3-point score as well. That game, that one penalty, you can take the other 11 and keep them. That one penalty changed the complexion of the game. And I try not to be tinfoil hat guy. I try not to be that guy. But when I watched the Monday night game with Chicago, and poor Bears fans, God, my God, that was brutal. And then I see the way that what the Saints were doing with holding offensively and defensively, and what they got away with only 2 fucking penalties the whole game. And then they were calling shit against Atlanta. You can't tell me that Vegas lines and gambling doesn't play effect into some of this bullshit, because there's no way you can make those kind of egregious calls that these refs have been making these past few weeks and there not be something fishy about it. I'm really starting to get quite perturbed about it because, we were road favorites. They didn't want us to cover or whatever. That's the only thing I can explain for some of those penalties they were calling. And it's upsetting.
I'm with you on that. When it's so egregious like that, when you see the Saints get flagged, I think 12 times last week and twice against us, they don't go from a squeaky clean team one week to undisciplined the next week. I mean, they were doing things against us that were not being called, that they got called against them against the Falcons. Hey, I'm glad they lost to Atlanta. That was nice. But it's, the egregious missed calls, the egregious things that are called that shouldn't be. The way the Bears on Monday night, that was absolutely absurd in a game decided by 2 points. Just terribly. One of the worst. I've watched, I don't watch a lot of games that aren't involving the Bucs anymore as much as I used to. But I happened to watch that one, and that of the ones I watched, that was one of the most abominable, disgraceful displays of officiating I've seen this season. Totally one-sided, terrible
Despicable.
officiating.
Despicable is the word you're looking for, I think.
That's what it is. And the Bears need as much help as they can get. They were a heavy underdog in that game. We saw them a few weeks ago, and I was like, man, this is just a terrible football team. They played a good game on Monday night. They played a very good game, and if you take out the ridiculousness of those calls, they probably win that game.
Pittsburgh really sucks, but
yes.
the league is better when Pittsburgh is better. So let's just be honest here. Go ahead, Stunner.
That's true.
The officiating, we saw it in New Orleans, but I think it's been going on all season, including week 1, where the officials will hold us down so that these lesser teams are competitive, so these games are not a blowout with the Bucs in favor of blowing routing these teams. And, then people flip it over or watch a different game, so they want to watch this game. So they try to keep the other team in the game by holding us down with the officiating.
I agree.
And it's been happening throughout the season. Happened at the Rams. Happened week 1 against Dallas. Okay. It's been going on all year. And then sometimes a team will actually beat us. Now, the Saints game was over and above. I mean, they were manipulating drives. Like Bucco said, they stole our momentum on the Winfield interception. Okay. And then like Kat said, our secondary was porous. The plays they came up with was where they targeted 28 and 43. Well, 28 and 43 got to be on the field. And when they're out there, they're going to get, they're going to find a way to exploit them, because they spent all week game planning for it. So if you remember second half, we knocked them out 3 and out, bam, 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 and came back, and I believe took the lead at one point. So if the referees would have stayed out of the game, we would have beat the Saints. If the referees would have stayed out of the game, we possibly would have been in a better game against the Rams. We didn't really play our best football, but we definitely would have been more competitive than manufacturing them whole drives. Last year against Chicago, we went up 13. Bam, they gave them a 14-point swing. But this year, it's been really bad. I think it's been really bad this year because we're a much better team this year.
And I agree with you all completely. The refs have been trash this year, really bad this year. But it seems like they get worse because there's no accountability on the league's behalf. They keep making excuses. They keep sweeping it under the rug. The NFL doesn't have to do that, right? They could see these heinous calls that are being made and fix it. But no, they cover it up like they do a lot of things.
Right.
Goodell continues to be a sleaze, and then he wants to put, he brings up pointless things in football and sweeps the important ones under the rug. This is an important one. It's going to ruin a playoff game before you know it. It already has. There's been several that I'm sure have been ruined because of flags. But gentlemen, it's a serious problem. It's a serious problem, and it's not going away. You really can't justify the Saints getting 10 calls 1 week, no calls 1 week. It's just so crazy to me that that's happening. Anyways, Russ keeps cranking him in. OJ and Bray aren't necessarily good blockers, so getting Wells, I think he means Fells. Hey, my man must be like me, a big Josh Wells guy. Maybe it auto
Josh Wells. I mean,
it auto corrects to Wells. It says OJ and Brady aren't necessarily good blockers, so getting Fells could be a very good thing. The Bucs jumped on him quick for a reason. We need it to run the ball better to keep offenses like AZ and LA off the field. Fells could be the difference. Gronkowski could re-injure himself too. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, and it brings us into our next subject. That's signing Fells and signing Perryman. The Bucs did a couple good things this week. They brought in a familiar face in Perriman. They brought in good tight end depth in Fells. Fells had a 6 or 7 touchdown season in Houston just 3 short years ago. He's a good blocking tight end as well. And then for Perriman, it's a guy who's familiar with the coaching staff. He could be the deep down the field threat, with AB or Miller's sideline. So both of these are good moves. We'll go around and we'll say which one we like more. Yep, Russ, we got your back, buddy. He says, Fells, I meant, yes, sir. That's what we're assuming here, anyways.
Why is he yelling at me, Tones? Why is he in all caps yelling at me?
Hey, maybe his caps lock is stuck. That happens to some ladies at my work too in their emails. They seem to get stuck when they're trying to convey messaging to me. So maybe it's one of those things, the email or the caps lock button got stuck. Russ, we do appreciate you. Keep the comments coming. Stunno, we'll start with you. Fells or Perriman more important to this roster?
I'd say Fells, but I could see Perryman very well, getting some reps this weekend. And I always thought he did a great job for us. He played with confidence. He had good hands. I'm a Tyler Johnson fan. I'm with the crew that I think he needs to get more looks, get more opportunities. And then you possibly even if you have Perryman out there, you could rest Miller another week. So I think that we need to do more. Our base is 2 tight ends, and I'm sure if they want to run more 3 tight ends to be able to run the football and keep our defense off the field would be ideal this weekend, especially as a road team.
Yeah, Bucko, what say you, Fells or I'll tell you, this is tough for me. I agree with what Stun has said, but
it ain't tough for me. I think if Perriman is seeing the field, that's a bad thing. Okay, I'm not shitting on Perriman what he did 3 years ago. That last push he made with Jameis there at the end of the season actually won me a fantasy Super Bowl. So I will always appreciate Rashard Perriman and Jameis Winston for that regard. But everywhere he's been a non-impactful player, except for that 6 weeks run he had with Jameis there in a non-meaningful season. Okay, so if Rashard Perriman is seeing the field, that I think they're worried about AB, they're worried about Scotty, they're worried about Godwin, right? Bringing him in tells me they're worried about the health of our wide receivers, so that worries me. Bringing in a guy like Fells, I love it because we are a max protect with every time we brought in the extra tackle this year, we get a fucking penalty. Whether it be a false start or illegal formation or something. We keep trying to bring in that extra tackle and it doesn't work. But when we ran the 3 tights, it worked. It worked well. We could run pass play out of that. We could run max protect runs out of that. It worked great, especially like the playoff game we're talking about against Washington last year. We had Gronk singled up one-on-one blocking Chase Young with Cameron Brate running free one-on-one on the seam. So we do run a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets. So I think Fells, being a veteran, I think he played with Bruce in Arizona too, right, Tones?
Yes, he did. You were correct.
He's familiar with the concept. I think this is just like adding an AQ Shipley. It's a guy that can come in, familiar with the system, familiar with the blocking scheme. He can help our immediate projected, offense what we want to run. Which I honestly think if you've noticed this year, I think we're shifting more to a power run team versus that zone run team that we were a couple years ago. And I think he's going to help in that regard. But as far as Rashard Perriman, the man has had 6 good games in his entire career. If he's on the field in regularity, I don't view that as a good thing. Sorry. Welcome back.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, welcome back, buddy. We'll toast you. But as you said, he's already on his 3rd team this year. He's only had 6 good weeks, but fantasy owners did love him those 6 weeks. He had him, winning championships. A couple of them. Go ahead, Buck.
No, listen, I actually won $2,300 thanks to Rashard Perriman and Jameis Winston. They carried me, so I was a benefactor of that.
The league's most fierce duo. There you heard it. Jameis Winston, Rashard Perriman, and the kid who won my league that year had both of them too. So, there you go. He won him a couple. Cats, what say you, Fells or Perriman? I agree with the rest. I go Fells, and then we're going to get into some bets, score prediction, MVPs, and close out.
I do as well. I think he can be, similar. That was a good point on AQ Shipley. I could see him being similar to what Auclair was as well, as a blocker. I think I remember he had a pretty good year with Houston a few years ago as well. So, and in, however long we need him, I think it's a good signing. Perriman, yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think the initial plan was for him to see the field that much. I believe he was signed to the practice squad originally, but now with Godwin being questionable, you're elevating him. I mean, I guess, we have, if you're looking for a guy that, last week, sorry, 2 weeks ago when I'm watching and I'm thinking, well, seeing Cyril Grayson's out there, I'm thinking, well, I doubt they're going to be throwing him the ball, but he's fast enough that the defense has to account for him, and they actually didn't account for him on that one play, and he catches a touchdown. Are they going to be able to pull that off again with either him or with Perriman? Probably not. But, I mean, he is a deep threat. But, yeah, I'm not really – he's not a guy that – I mean, he knows the offense. So I'm okay with bringing him in. But I really, I'm hoping that he's not someone that has to see the field a lot, like you said. So Fells is a guy that I think that can really help us in the run game as well.
Russ says we need game reps at full strength, and it seemed like it was a pretty clean sweep there for Fells, pretty much. It seems like we all respect the Perriman move. We appreciate what he did here before, and we appreciate his familiarity, but if we see him, that's a bad thing. Whereas Fells, at least, 3 tight end sets is common. He's a 3rd tight end right now, so it makes sense. Russ continues to comment. We do appreciate it. We need game reps at full strength. I still believe nobody can beat us but ourselves. LA is playing a hell of a lot of copycat with the Bucs. I want to see Giovanni get more reps running between the tackles. He's smaller and faster. D linemen can't get their hands on him as easy. I do agree. Gio is a good weapon, but Lenny's been running hell of a football. It's hard to take anything away from Lenny right now. So, I think they'll continue.
Keyshawn Vaughn is a bust.
Keyshawn Vaughn. No, I think
yeah, he's a bust. Yes.
No, I think he has potential. I think he has potential, but we could save that for Rainy Pod. But I do think Vaughn has potential, but Lenny F is just running different right now, so he's going to get the hot hand. Bruce has been the hot hand approach guy, it seems like. I always type in all caps. Bucko, he's not yelling at you, buddy. He says I always type and write in caps, not yelling. I get shit for this all the time on the internet. The internet's a wild place, and when you throw a bunch of caps in, it makes it that much more wild. So, Russ, maybe this is a perfect comment. Perfect caps, perfect everything. So, there you go. And then one more, Russ, before we get to
MVP.
Did I lose signal? Is that me?
I don't know.
Tones. Oh, we lost our host with the most. Ain't that a bitch?
I can hear y'all.
Yeah, it's Tones is froze. Look at him, reaching for the heavens.
Sorry about that, fellas. My internet's been. We got rain coming in. I think we've had rain earlier today. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's been out of sorts. My apologies. It's frozen in and out a couple of times tonight. So we'll go ahead and get to our bets, score prediction, MVPs, and wrap out before I keep freezing out of here. Russ did say teams can only bring players up so many times. Exactly, Russ. Bucs have hit their limits. J.C. Allen, who we've had on the show quite a couple times, he has tweeted that actually as well. If you want more info on that, go to Pewter Report, go to J.C. Allen. He did a great job of breaking that down. And like you said, what the pyramid move was for. So we'll get into our betting segment now. Bucko's bet of the game, but we're going to give all our takes on this one.
There's a lot of games I love this week as far as gambling. For parlay advice, hit me up at Bucko Bruce 83. I actually got a nice 4-gamer that I think is guaranteed to hit. But the easiest one of the night, the game of the week for betting purposes, is Baltimore -8. Oh, my God, that is so easy. It is not even close. But I'm going to stay away from
I took Miami tonight, buddy.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're going to lose all your money. But that game starts in 10 minutes, so I'm going to stay away from that. And I'm going to give you the prime pick of the week, Bucko's pick of the week. The Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Chargers. Neither one of these teams can stop the run to save their fucking life. Both teams can run the ball very well. I don't see it going over the 53 points. So if you want to parlay within the one game, you take Chargers lay to 3 points. You take the under at under 53, and you take the Minnesota Vikings. I think the over-under is at 122 yards rushing. You take the over on that. A nice 3-game parlay within the same game to give you some nice coin. That is Bucco's bet of the week.
There you go, fellas. Bucco's bet of the week. Real quick, Cats and Stunna, we'll just get your guys' Bucs Bucs bets. Do you like the over at 51, Cats? We'll ask you the over under 51 in the Bucs game. You think the over under hits?
Under. I'm going under 51.
Absolutely.
Bucko, you think under?
Yeah, I see this game 30-16. I see it being 5 points under. So yeah, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the Bucs. I'm laying the points. Another 3-gamer there as well. But yeah, under big time.
Stunna, what say you? Over under 51 points.
Over. Over 51.
Stunna's going with the over.
This is probably the same guy that has Miami winning.
Oh, Miami Hurricanes, absolutely. Yeah. But 42-24 is my final prediction.
So you think they cover the 9.5? Bucko thinks they cover the 9.5. Cats, what say you on the 9.5 spread? You said, yeah. What say you on the 9.5 points?
I'm going to go with Bucs win 31-17. So yes, they would cover that.
31-17. That means you like the.
That's 48-51. That's barely under, right?
So that means Bucko had 46 total, Cats had 48 total. Stunna had a shootout, not a shootout, but a high scoring one, 42-24. I'm going with the over as well. I don't think this Washington defense is that good. I'm going with
you see 66 points, 15 points over the line. That is wowzers. Okay.
I'm going with 38-17.
I will say, I think they're ranked near the bottom in a lot of categories defensively.
Especially dead last against the pass, but we don't have our weapons. That's why
Brady don't need great receivers.
Yeah, true statement.
But, I mean, we put up 31. We haven't, our offense on the road, with healthy or not, has not been as good. But, again, you know, I mean, the playoff game did go over. Well, I don't know what the over-under was in that playoff game, but it was 54 is what we ended up at. But I think we'll be a little bit – I don't think Washington's as good this year as they were a year ago, mainly on the defense.
In that game, there's like 47 in that
playoff. So that went over, yeah. But I'm 31-17 is where I see this. I don't see it being particularly close. I have a good feeling about this one.
We're sharing a brain because I got 30-16, so we're right
there. We go, almost identical.
These two yo-yos up here, I don't know what to think of them.
Only the refs got a 40-point plus.
We'll see after this weekend, over under, but we all have one thing in common. We got them covering the spread. Guys, let's do MVPs. And let's bounce out. Russ is bouncing out right now. Thanks, Russ. We appreciate you. Have a good one, buddy.
The only healthy wide receiver we have, Mike Evans. That's our fucking MVP. He's going to get the most targets he's seen all year, and I'm thankful for it. Let's go, Mike. 10 catches, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Let's go, Mike.
Stunna, what say you?
Lavonte David for MVP. 10 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and 1 fumble recovery.
So we got the 2 most respected and 2 of the most tenured Bucs outside of Will Golston as well, of Evans and Lavonte, players of the game so far. Cats, what say you?
I'm going to go with Tyler Johnson. I think going with Tyler Johnson, I think they're going to roll their coverage towards Evans, especially we're going to presume Godwin's out. I think, unfortunately, he's going to be out. And I think it's going to give Tyler Johnson, more favorable matchups, and I think he's going to have a big game.
I like Tyler.
I like that call.
I was torn between Leonard and Mike, but I went full Mike. So
I would love
Tones,
to
take
see
Leonard, Mike.
Money.
Tones, take Leonard. Take Leonard.
Should I take Lenny? Should I take Lenny? Should I go with Lenny?
Leonard.
Rojo.
I'm gonna go with Antoine Winfield Jr. actually, and we've seen him step up and make a play against the Saints that got called back. Obviously, he did eating the W, and I don't have a problem with that. Some people did, but some people have problems with a lot of things. I think Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to continue to be a good playmaker. I think he's going to continue to make plays, and I think we start seeing some of those this week. I do think Lenny F's going to have a good game as well, though, and he's been incredible lately. So there's too many guys to choose from. I'm going to Antoine Winfield. Cats had Ty Johnson. Stunner had Levante. Bucko had Evans. Go get your prop bets in on these four guys while you
Whatever
can.
the over under is on Mike, it will be over. Whatever the hell it is, take Mike.
I would love to see T Money get 10 catches.
I would love it too, but I think Mike's going to finally get the love because look, the only reason Mike has not been getting the targets he's deserving of is because Tom is an open receiver type of guy. Now, the only one he has that rapport with is 13, bro. The only one. I think a minimum 15 targets for Mike Evans on Sunday. Minimum.
That would be a whole bunch, 15, and I could see it. It would make sense. He's the one-man band, perhaps, but Tyler Johnson's going to get a couple of targets, you bet you, as well. So, fellas, time to bounce out of here. Cats, what's your closing statement, my friend?
Looking for a bounce back performance. I think we're going to get it. I think this week, and I think I'll go with this. I think Devon White's going to have a good game. I wouldn't call him my MVP, but I think after having a week to reflect and sitting with Levante, I think you're going to see him have a nice game this game. Not going to make anything more bold than that, but I think he's going to have a good game.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Stunner.
Go ahead. Stunner, close out.
1995, the Buccaneers swept the Redskins 2 times in one season. Look to do it again Sunday. Hell nah to the Hogs.
Stunner's closeouts are the best because it's like an old factoid of the
I remember that.
Time.
He wanted to say hail to the Redskins, but he said hail to the
I remember that. That was a rarity when you could actually see occasionally you'd play a team that wasn't in your division twice in a regular season. I remember that. Bucs swept them, beat them here, beat them there. Yeah, I remember that.
Fuck them, feed them dog food. Look, this is where my entire family is from. Alexandria, Virginia, just outside of DC. My entire family is Redskins fans. I look forward to this week. Semi-annually it seems, or every 2 year, biannually I guess would be the proper term. Fuck the football team and whatever they were called before. I don't like them. I dislike them strongly. What I want to see out of my football team is 6 or fewer penalties. If we have double-digit penalties again, we're going to have a problem. Bucko is going to go apeshit on this team, on this podcast. Stop beating yourself with stupid penalties, and teams cannot beat you. Get that message through your head and we'll be just fine. God bless you. Thank you, vets. Let's fucking go.
Thank you, vets. Again, we do appreciate you guys. All of us here at the Buccateers appreciate the hell out of you guys. And again, the penalties got to stop. My bad Wi-Fi has to stop as well. Hopefully next episode it's a little better. Hopefully next episode it's not raining out here. So thank you, vets. Go Bucs. Lower the penalties. Fire the damn cannons. On behalf of Cats, Bucko, Stunner, Cody G couldn't join us tonight. It's Tampa Tones. That has been the Buccateers, ladies and gentlemen. We do thank you guys for joining us. Russ, Donnie, thanks again for commenting. You've been part of the Buccateers. It's been incredible. We'll be with you guys for the post-game show, the post-game pod, coming right after the game, about an hour or so after. Again, thank you guys for tuning in.